My man.
up?
My man.
You're all dressed up,
Good
ah.
to see you. Alam mo naman.
What's the occasion?
Baguio.
Yun yung occasion.
Reminds me of my hometown Baguio. Kasi sa Baguio lang nakakapag-forma ko ng ganun or abroad.
Ano ba yung tsura nito, no?
This is the Baguio boy thing.
Yeah, it looks good, looks good.
Yeah.
Anyway, a good response from our first episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good sponsor. I'm sure if we posted at a better time and the thumb was a bit
Yeah.
more playful, but the quality of response, very good.
Yeah, no, and remember, for the size of the channel that we started.
Oh, it's a baby.
Maganda yung traction na nakuha natin
Yeah.
on this first one. And I think mas marami tayong makuha traction. For everyone that's asking, nasa ba tayo today?
Oo nga, nasan tayo? Ikaw ang nag-suggest eh. Alam mo ako, I just rushed coming here para hindi ako malit na hiya ako sa'yo.
You've never heard of Common Man? Common
Parati
Man
ako
Roasters?
dito sa area. Actually, fat seat ang tambahan ko dito, literally.
Fat Seed is good. We'll go to Fat Seed next time. Pero to Common Man Roasters is a new place. They have a branch in in Makati.
Makati,
Ayala Triangle.
right,
So I've tried
right.
the coffee here. It's really good. The food's also good. Price level, you're looking at spending per person siguro for the food and the drinks, mga aabot ng 500 to 1,000.
Oh, so medyo
Pricey siya.
pricey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pero kung coffee
That's
lang,
nice.
under 500. Pero kung
Very nice.
may food, abot ka lampas ng 500 for sure. Pero it's nice, I like the ambiance.
I like the ambience. I like the whole glass thing. So,
So-
watching the strong rain, but you know,
Grabe yung ulan na naman. Actually, nakita mo ba yung mga videos na lumalabas?
yung mga basura.
Oo, anong nangyari doon?
Actually, just on my own channel, I posted 2 days ago, no, Pacquiao and before that, General Torre,
Oo.
when we discuss kung kailangan ng Manila governor. Kasi grabe tong problema ng basura. Siyempre, yung mga
Traffic,
people
everything.
living next to the river, kailangan mo ng, komplikado yan eh. Ang problema yung MMDA, of course, he's not the chairman, he's the general manager, so parang number 2 pa siya. Limitado yatang mandato nila, tsaka personal nila. Of course, he tries to put a gloss on it and nagpakita siya ng gilas and all, but I really think, and I don't know if you saw the picture of General Torre kanina dun sa grabing basura sa river.
No, I haven't seen. Pero I saw the videos and the photo. I don't know the context pa rin. All I know is naglabasan doon yung mga basura. Bakit? Ano yung poor waste management?
Yes, probably waste management is a part of it, pero from what he implied, no, may post si General Torre recently about that na kailangan ayusin yan. Is because mukhang meron tayong zoning problem. Meron tayong problem with a lot of folks
Okay.
who live next to these river areas and all. Wala silang matinong sanitation.
Right.
Hindi matino yung
Waste
waste management. And then, well, for General Torre, marami rin pasaway. So
Right.
he went back to this kailangan ng disiplina kind of rhetoric and all. Ako naman, for me, it's an infrastructure issue. Lumalabas rin yung bahaw in terms of mali talaga yung planning natin when it comes to dealing with itong climate change problem na tayo. Hindi pwede technical lang na
Okay.
flood control. Una-una, of course, sisiguraduhin mo yung pera na papunta dito sa technical solutions hindi ko-corrupt, which is of course a problem. Pero kung titignan mo yung more developed countries, Singapore, Netherlands, ganun, na may problema, or Japan, it's a combination of multiple factors. Meron silang ecological solution, meron community at housing zone issue,
Right.
and then meron technical issue. It's not just one eh.
Right,
Walang magic
right.
bullet dito eh. So, that's where I'm coming from really when it comes to looking at this.
Well, so you're talking about two things, One is yung prevention. Prevention in terms of climate change.
Yeah.
Why is it raining so much, yung mga ganung issues. But the other one, of course, is the solution to the problem of the current flooding. Kasi we shouldn't have flooding in some of the areas na meron eh. For example, a good example na nakita ko recently,
Yeah.
parang sa Marikina ngayon, nabalitaan ko, hindi na daw nagfa-flood.
Yes, good news.
Unbelievable. And they were showing, and may nakita ko mga photos and videos of sa may Marikina River, kung saan pinapakita nila na kahit na umangat na yung levels doon, hindi kumakalat yung floods. So which is amazing. And doon mo nakita na kung tama yung management, tama yung pagpapatakbo, at tama yung pinagamitan ng flood control, na wala
I
dapat
think
flooding.
Japanese, may nakita ko nagte-trending Japanese flood control in Manila na gumagana. Baka yun yung sa
In
Marikina.
Manila or Marikina?
Baka, no, I mean Manila, Metro
Metro
Manila.
Manila.
So baka that's the one. So
Possible.
my apologies. Japanese yata na, I don't know, ADB funded or by
Right.
Japan and all.
And sana nga makakuha tayo ng mas maraming mga ganong ideas from neighboring countries like Japan. They're
Yeah.
very good with these things. kunin, technology transfer lang yan eh. But nakikita ko nga, the reason that doesn't happen is not because of lack of budget. It's really lack of will or lack of want. Yun lang yun eh.
And also lack of planning. I mean, nandito tayo sa BGC ngayon. I've never seen this area flooded. Even
Right.
when I was living in Makati, nag-flood yun once in a while. But here, never flooded. And for me, this is a perfect example. Kasi I think Harvard School of Architecture ang tumulong dito eh.
Wow.
When they were putting together. So hindi lang yayamanin dito, yayamanin din naman ng Makati and all eh. But it's the city planning. So it's a combination of technology, proper city planning, and also, I mean, look at it. It's also ecologically balanced. You see green and
Yeah.
all. So I think Netherlands, what they do is they make sure na instead of controlling the flood, you help it to go into the rivers. It's
Right.
part of the landscape or seascape of the city. Yun.
So did you know na sa BGC, there's this big underground
Tunnel, parang
tank.
ganun. Yeah.
in by Burgos Circle.
Right.
Yung mismo sa circle,
Yeah.
yung may puno doon, sa ilalim noon is this massive tank that holds some ridiculous amount of millions of gallons of water. Kaya hindi nagbabaha dito. But the reason I think BGC is doing well, kasi remember, nung pinlano to, wala pang flat to eh. Walang laman
Yeah.
dito eh. So they were able to create a long-term plan from scratch na maayos. You look at older cities like Manila,
Yeah.
for example, ang hirap gawin eh. Kasi andyan eh, dyan yung mga tao and everything. You'd have to start from scratch. This is a blank slate.
Yeah.
So kaya mas mabilis. Ako lang tingin ko talaga for the longest time kasi we've never had the will or the want to do it. The want, when I say want, kasi karamihan ng mga politiko never had a long-term plan. Their plan is as long as how long am I staying in power, in government. And like I said, like we always talk about, corruption is how much money can I extract from the government. Di ba? But if they just put the money into the right infrastructure, services, man, ganda ng Pilipinas.
Incentive system yun, no? I mean, you're absolutely right. Yung BGC kasi, they really made sure this one would work. So from scratch, they got
Yes.
the best architect, they found the right place, the good developers were involved. So pwede mo sabihin, ito, exhibit A of what should happen. At the same time, medyo exceptional yung circumstances. At the same time, hindi ito yung kabuuan ng Metro Manila, right? It's kind of a sample for the rest. Yung iba naman kasi, dahil it has been there for a long time, what you can do is retrofit it. So kunyari, Metro Manila, in other cities like Manila, meron na kang green areas, meron kang rivers, meron kang bridges. So maybe yung ginagawa nila sa Amsterdam or sa Netherlands could work na you could make little ravines or rivers or put it into some park. So
Right.
i-retrofit mo, di ba? So because you cannot build it from scratch, you rearrange the city. And the reality is, yung climate change, lumalala yan every year. As we speak, parang third heat wave sa UK. Buti
Yeah.
mo nakatakas na ako eh. It's so bad in Europe now. So kita mo, yung Europe kasi hindi sila prepared. Wala silang air conditioning, gano'n. Now they're paying the price. So even yung mga first world country nahihirapan with climate change, ang akin lang, I don't think it's just a technological solution. It's a combination of technological solution, city planning, ecological balance and all. But going dun sa sinabi mo, the good news is also like two things. First of all, ang bilis ng BGC. Like this thing was 10 years ago, this thing was almost non-existent.
Yeah.
So it gives you a hope na there is some good progress in the Philippines. Pangalawa, even dun sa mga old cities like QC, it is not an endorsement. But I think under the current mayor in Quezon City, there has been some improvement. And I think you can see it all across
Yes.
Metro Manila. Valenzuela, under the Gatchalians, there was a lot of improvement. Pasig, under Vico. So, you're absolutely right. Ang basa ko kasi sa corruption is the incentive structure and lack of leadership. So, the incentive structure mo is do the same thing, kurakot, vote buying, ROI, then the same thing. But once in a while, you have a good leader that comes in and
Right.
shakes the system. But the good leader has to institutionalize that. So they introduce certain reforms na kahit iba na yung mayor, tuloy-tuloy na ito. So new city planning, regulations, bring in good contractors to build flood control or other technologies, no? And community involvement, very important yun. I mean, siguro kailangang pag-aralan yung Marikina because I think the community is also involved to
Yeah.
make sure na walang kalokohan na mangyari.
Speaking of community involvement, yun na na-impress ako sa Marikina. Pag kausapin mo ang mga Mariqueños, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
They're very proud about being from Marikina. Nakikita ko yun ha. They're very proud of the fact na pag pumunta ka Marikina, malinis ang kalsada. Pag pumunta ka Marikina, yung mga tao maayos, madisiplina daw. I don't know how true that is, but at least they feel that pride in being from Marikina.
Yeah.
When you talk about institutionalizing change,
Yeah.
yun yung nagustuhan ko sa sinabi ni Vico Soto.
Yeah.
Di ba na, I'm going to leave, pero we've created enough change that will last even after I'm gone. Hindi lang basta-basta mababago. That's needed for all the LGUs. As a matter of fact, nakikita ko na yung laban ng korupsyon has to be in the LGU level eh. Kahit maayos natin yung sa national level,
Yeah.
kung yung LGU, the main implementer, administrator of each of these areas, hindi mo maayos, it's useless. There's so much corruption that happens in the LGU na hindi nga napapansin because everyone's looking at the national level, which is pretty bad, by the way. But kailangan din tutukan ng LGUs. So yun yung isa pa. But before that, I'm gonna order ano.
Yeah, I think you should order, bro.
Sige.
Look at me, nag-color coordinate ako dito.
Oo nga,
Favorite color. Yeah.
All earthy and everything.
Exactly. No, that's no, I really like this discussion kasi minsan nga I think the tendency of people is just I mean, we can blame personalities and all. We can feel depressed and hopeless na bang Pilipinas and all. But I also see a lot of good change.
Yeah.
Yes, Alex.
Okay, ano ba marirecommend mo?
This one, common man burger or the grilled veggie salad.
Really, the burger.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our burger is a double patty and it has a beetroot barbecue
Kain ka na.
Wow.
yellow mayonnaise and sauce.
Grabe. Oh, sige. That looks...
Gave in to temptation.
Ah?
It's good for sharing though, the common man full meals.
Yeah, but breakfast, I always have... let's try your burger. I'm a burger guy. Yeah. Funny, every time we go to like a cafe, I'm always ordering
Eating.
food.
Nagugutom ka sa conversation siguro.
Oo nga eh. Sige. Yun, ano na lang, hindi ako magkakape. Pero I've tried the coffee here, by the way. It's good.
Yeah, sure.
Just na
Ako na lang
coffee.
nagsasakripisyo.
The last time kasi I had coffee at this time,
Hindi ka na makatulog.
hindi ako makatulog hanggang for the
right.
next 12 hours. It was crazy. Coke Zero.
One Coke Zero and then one common man.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Sige, ayan, I'm excited about that burger. Oh, anyway, okay.
Nainggit na ako sa'yo. No, but go ahead. Yeah.
Wait, did you want to order
No,
food?
no, no. I have a strict also cycle of eating So my next
Ah,
cycle
you
is 6
do?
p.m. Yeah. Intermittent ako So
Oh.
ganun lang. I'm very
Wait a minute.
strict with my cycles. Yeah.
What time is your window?
Between 11 to 6.
Oh, it's not
So I
6.
ate already kanina mga
or
one
one meal a day ka ba?
1.5 or 2 maximum.
Ah,
It
okay.
helps talaga. It helps. Lalo kasi I ride, I drive. Wala kang time as much activity. Even if nag-gym ako, there's just so much na pwede mahabulin.
Right,
And yung
right.
quality of food natin, I mean, I'm sure it's great here. Pero kahapon may nakita akong article about yung mga Amerikano who go to Europe. Enjoy sila. All the carbs and all in Italy, pero they lose weight pa rin 50
Yep.
pounds. Wala na yung joint pain, walang ganun. And I noticed that in Spain, right? Kahit paiya ka ng paiya every day, you're still lean the
Yeah.
next day. The quality is different.
Yeah, so there are two things I noticed sa
Yeah.
Europe compared sa Philippines and even the US.
Similar tayo sa US
Similar tayo sa
Oh.
US eh. Ang isa napansin ko sa Europe, sobrang bihira ka makakita ng junk food
Yes.
at ng fast food restaurants. Halos bihira ka makakita ng McDonald's. And junk food halos hindi ko na nga naiisip yung junk food because I don't see it. Tapos ang pinaka big difference, karamihan ng mga food doon is whole foods. Unlike sa US, maraming processed foods.
Yeah.
The processed foods is really what I think is the reason why you don't go to the bathroom 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Some people are probably listening going 3 times a day. I don't even go once a day, di ba? Guys,
Digestion
3
issue.
times a day is kailangan mo. Or kahit twice a day. Sige na nga, kahit once a day man lang.
Yeah.
I
Very
know a lot of
important.
people don't even go once a day. It's really bad. And when you don't go once a day, toxins are
Digestion.
stuck in your body.
Yeah.
What happens to the toxins? It actually turns into something else. It probably goes into the tissues. It becomes part of your body. And then that's when you have all the problems of,
Yeah.
my God, yung lahat ng mga sakit na maiisip mo, it's just really bad. That's why a part of me is like, parang sarap tumira sa Europe.
It is. At saka masarap maglakad. The
Yun.
city plan is amazing.
Yun, speaking of city planning, yun yung maganda sa BGC. Because nga it's city plan. But when I want to change the word, not city planning private business planning.
Yeah.
Because hindi naman ang city government ang nagplano nito .
Right.
Think about it. It's not the Taguig government that made BGC. Please.
Yeah,
By
especially
all-
Cayetanos.
Exactly. Hindi talaga. Nakikinabang ang Taguig government because of BGC. That's why they have to be careful on how they govern the BGC area because ang daming pera galing sa BGC na
Yeah.
pupunta sa kaban ng ng Taguig, di ba? Ngayon, pag tinignan mo yung surrounding areas of Taguig, that's a different story. As a matter of fact, napansin ko nga, makikita mo sa mga Reddit threads, sinasabi nga nila parang BGC is not really, it's not real. It's anti-poor. And it's walled. Kung titignan mo, I mean, right outside, by Kailangan Avenue, makita mo yung divide from BGC to the regular folks.
100%.
You know, bakit hindi magawa daw yun for the other areas? Ano tingin mo? Bakit kaya?
Yeah, I mean, even New York has that, right? Iba yung Manhattan, iba yung Queens, iba yung Bronx and all. But over time, nakita mo, nag-improve yung Bronx. Nag-improve din yung Queens. When you had good mayors, when you have good governance and all of that. So, ako, even sa mga pinaka-malalaking developed cities, nakikita mo, unfortunately, meron yung divide niyan. So, hindi yan unique sa atin. Having said that, obviously, Philippines is far more unequal, yung rich and poor divide. And hindi lang yung actual wall, di ba? Meron ka rin parang invisible wall na kung you don't come from certain socioeconomic class, yung mga gwardya, titignan ka, di ba? The people, let's be honest, like if you come from a more humble background, parang the BGC gives the vibes you don't belong here. It's like walking into Greenbelt or something like that. Or at least yun ang napansin ko, no? Napansin ko like some people who were around here trying to get help. Di ba? Yung mga, hindi ko alam kung iba sindikato or hindi, but even they had to wear certain clothes and all to blend in. So we can say na BGC is also a reminder na we are a very unequal society. But as I said, it also shows what is possible.
Right.
Like if 10, 15 years ago, someone told me, kasi nakikita ko yun sa mga friends ko from Europe
Yeah.
who were here 20 years ago, then come here, like,
And they're like,
wow, grabe Manila, sobrang nag-develop So ako, meron ba? Hindi. So actually dahil sa kanila, and these are like Swiss people
Right.
who say Manila is their second favorite after Bangkok. So may standards sila, mataas na. And they said, oo, marami kayong problema, pero kung actually for us from outside, na nakita namin over 20 years, ang laki daw ng improvement ng Manila. They're more hopeful about our country than ourselves. Because
that's good.
Which is good.
But they're hopeful because they don't understand or know the problems.
They don't
that
suffer the everyday
Yeah.
problems.
Tingin ko naman, there is hope. Kasi nga, alam mo yung nakikita kong corruption natin ngayon.
Yeah.
Remember that in our whole history, since
That's not
Since-
healthy.
I know.
That's not healthy. Like,
Sorry,
after all
guys.
the talk about processed food and all,
Well, I know.
Coke, you know.
Coke Zero naman, walang sugar.
Yeah, but it is.
I know. Once, it's
No, bro,
alam
you've
mo, I've
earned
got
it.
this thing about,
You look lean and mean. No?
if it's a burger, parang ang sarap kumain ng burger with, oh my God, parang advertisement.
Yeah, tsaka early pa naman
Ang swerte ng Coke, may free advertisement,
Yun nga, yung previous natin sa breakfast at Antonio's, ang laki nung
Sa inong
menu nila sa harap, para mas malaki pa siya sa akin.
Nilagay pa nga talaga
Talagang nilagay. Sabi ko, parang mas malaki, parang sumisingit pa akong ganun. By the way, dito ako. Kasi sabi niya, ba't si Richard parang nahiya sa camera? Hindi, sabi ko, sinisingit ko ang sarili ko.
Tinakpan nila.
Tinakpan ako nung menu nila But
But one thing that I do see, number one, nakasanayan natin yung corruption. Majority of people now have lived all their life with corruption in the Philippines. So they've lived with this corruption their whole life. They've never seen a world without corruption. So sa kanila, ito na yung nakasanayan nila. Ito na yung alam nila. In other words, majority of the people now are born into this corruption kaya hindi nila alam ang buhay outside of it. There's a prison that we were all born into, and it's called corruption. Because of that, they don't understand what a world would be like without it. Because they don't understand, they never can see that it's possible to have a world that is not corrupt. Kaya marami tayong nakikita ng mga dinastiya sa mga iba't ibang mga lungsod kung saan sabihin nila, ang ganda ng lungsod namin, ang bait ni Mayor, di ba? Ganun sila magsalita. And then you look at their place and you're like, eto na bang standards yun? Kasi nga, never sila nakakita ng standards above that. Now, once in a while, you get the private sector to try to do their part to make something happen. And then people say, oh, ito pa lang pwede mangyari pag hindi corrupt. O kaya nakalabas sila ng Pilipinas. They see other countries. So sabihin nila, ito pa lang mundo ng walang korupsyon. And then they realize that now how do we break the cycle of corruption when the people, majority of the people here have never seen a world that is not corrupt?
I mean, unang-una, once upon a time, lahat ng bansa dumaan dito. Let's not forget
okay,
that. Yeah,
I like that.
Once upon a time, you think UK was a clean country 50, 100 years. Norway was clean for US nga, sobrang corrupt hanggang ngayon, di ba? At panoorin mo yung Gangs of New York, Boardwalk
Right.
Empire, literal yung office ng mayor,
Right.
binebenta ng mga different gangs, Irish gang, Italian, American gang. So, ayokong isipin natin na genetic yan, sa atin lang yan. Usually sinasabi ng mga kaibigan natin, which is the Pinoy mantra, di ba? Kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap. Pero actually, historical, pag-aralan mo yan, iimayin mo yung datos. It's more like kung walang kahirapan, wala rin masyadong corruption. Bakit? Kasi patronage politics yan. Exactly. It's a cycle.
Chicken and egg.
Just to show you how it was, di ba? Naging issue nga that week na yung mga supporters ni Bong Revilla, di ba? Na very emotional sila. Na bakit si Bong Revilla, ganito, ganyan, mahal na mahal namin siya. Akala, then makita mo genuine si Lola. So ako, in fairness, nung may kailangan ko ng gamot, kasi nga, ang problema is, broken yung institutions natin. Yung healthcare natin, PhilHealth natin.
Right.
So umaasa ang mga tao dito sa mga patron. This is patronage politics, which all societies had at the lower levels of development. Ang challenge is how to transfer patronage politics into creation of modern states, institutions. So kung titignan mo yung mga maayos na mayor, right? Whether it's Vico, or back in the day, Jesse Robredo, now Ma'am Lenny, etc. Ang ginagawa nila is, huwag ka na pumunta kay mayor for personal patronage. Ayusin yung mayor yung ospital, yung mga eskwela, para diretso ka na sa kanila. Babantayan ng mayor kung sino na-appoint director dito, sino nag-handle ng budget, and then unti-unti akyat mo yung budget habang nagde-develop ka ng capacity. Kasi minsan, binubuhusan ng pera, wala palang capacity. Wala silang proper accounting, wala silang proper staff. So my point is, the good news is, maraming bansa dumaan dito. Pero unti-unti they went up. I mean, just look at how Lee Kuan Yew writes about how corrupt Singapore was in the 60s and 70s and how it cleaned up, di ba? Even Hong Kong, look at it in the 60s and 70s. Korea, very corrupt country. Hanggang ngayon, corruption is there. So, it's bad. But if you look at the broad sweep of history, there is a solution. Kaya ako, I always want leaders na hindi lang may political will, hindi lang may good intention, but kaya nilang ayusin, i-empower yung institution para maayos yung paktak ng institution, para hindi na ako pupunta kay mayor na humingi ng tulong. Diretso na ako sa ospital, diretso na ako dun sa eskwela para sa aking anak. Mahirap gawin yan. That's very easy. It's much easier for the mayor to do this. And then meron kang utang na loob sa akin, not knowing...
Kaysa yung
70% binulsa ko na.
Right.
Parang ganun yung ginawa. And that's where you create patronage politics and cycle. So to break that cycle, you need people na unang-una hindi corrupt. At pangalawa, they encourage people, ma'am, wag na kayo dumiretso sa akin. Punta na po kayo sa ospital, inayos ko na yan. Pinalitan ko yung mga kurakot na directors. Nilagyan ko ng matinong tao. That's the difficult part. But that's really the only way. If you look at lahat ng successful countries who went from yung tinatawag na patrimonial state,
Right.
patronage-based, parang an alpha male giving, di ba?
Yeah,
Yung mga hunter-gatherer,
the usual, yeah.
we're basically a lower level of development. That's really the problem. So you just have to modernize the state. And that's why meron tayong courses like public administration, public policy, pinag-aralan paano mo i-empower ang mga institusyon. In fact, this is not an easy thing. For instance, maayos kang mayor, gusto mo ayusin yung hospital, alam mo may sindikato dyan. Now, kung titirahin mo yung sindikato niyan, they will get back at you at other areas. Magti-team up sila sa kabila. So, paano mo i-manage yan? So, usually yung ginagawa ng iba is, their strategy is unti-unti nila. So, even if policy yung director, they'll keep some of the other allies so that hindi completely ma-alienate. Kaya nga, good mayors are also good politicians,
Right.
good reformers.
Yun,
ayan
thank
na.
you. Wow.
So, in short, hindi madali yung solusyon, but the good news is there is a solution.
Right.
And the good news is choose leaders who do not just personally solve the problem, but solve it through the institutionalization that. But of course, that also means, Chris, no? Hindi mo magawa in one term. Kaya usually, mga syudad na naging maayos, 2 or 3 term yung kanilang maayos na mayor. And kaya nga suggestion ko, sana ganun din sa presidente because 6 years is too long for a bad president, but really too short for a good president.
So what should it be?
2 4-year term or Indonesia, 2 5-year term. Kung magaling ka, i-re-elect ka. Now, Jokowi of Indonesia, hindi perfect. But that guy, if you go to Jakarta, I was in Jakarta a lot throughout the years. Mas grabe yung traffic nila sa atin, mas pangit. But during Jokowi and his successor, ang ginawa nila is they made yung underground metro, they made yung new bus lines. Maraming naayos. I saw with my own eyes, new airports were built, hanggang G20 hosting events. So I think maraming mga problema in terms of giving chance to good leaders to have enough time to do good things. At the same time, we give too much chance to bad leaders to keep on getting elected and all. For me, ano yan adjustments yan configuration. It's like when you edit a video.
Right.
May mga solution din yan Hindi yan imposible. And no matter how good your will is, kung wala kang diskarte, wala kang long-term planning, you don't have enough time, unfortunately, mahirap baguhin yung sistema Pero kayang baguhin ang sistema. That's always my point.
But Indonesia is still very corrupt. Malaysia is corrupt.
They are very corrupt, but they at least umaangat sila. Bumababa. So Indonesia used to be poorer than us until 2007. Ngayon, their per capita income is, I think, 20-30% higher than us. Vietnam was poorer than us. And also, a lot of corruption in Vietnam. Ilang presidente nila natanggal. There was this lady na, I think, parang $20 billion yung na-embezzle niya.
Wow.
At pinapabalik sa kanya. So, I think there's a lot of this myth na yung neighboring countries natin ay, magaling sila kasi walang corruption. Actually, ang daming corruption. As I said, even mga advanced countries like Korea, they have a lot of corruption scandals throughout years. Just, if you don't believe me, just Google how many Korean presidents in the last 20 years went to jail for corruption or abuse of power. But, dahil maayos yung mga institution nila Kung pupunta ka sa ospital sa Korea, gamitin mo yung health card mo, most likely gagana yan. Pupunta ka sa eskwela, napakataas yung kalidad ng eskwela. In fact, teachers, high school teachers in Korea are among the best paid civil servants because they value yung kalidad ng teachers. Kung yung guro mo magaling mga estudyante, kaya napaka-highly educated in Korea. In short, what I'm saying is, totoo, may problema tayo ng corruption, totoo, meron tayong problema ng political will. But maraming pieces of puzzle na we're missing if we just focus on that. But at the same time, that means marami rin tayong pwedeng gawin para ayusin yung bansa natin. You cannot get the Philippines from third world to first world in 5 years or 10 years. But we can go from third world to second world, from low income to upper middle income. In 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, kaya yun.
Okay. So speaking of long-term planning, did you know that Senator Rizzo Ontiveros is chairman of the Public Affairs ba yun? Or is it, I forget which one, but the committee is now tackling the MIND Act. You know what the MIND Act is?
Please go ahead.
It's the master plan on infrastructure and national development. Before they tackled it in Senate, there was a proposal that was written by Senator Win to create a master...
Winry na naman tayo.
Winry, oo nga. To create a master plan. Baka isipin nila ba yun? Hindi na Winry.
No.
Hindi, pero it's to create this 30-year master plan na hindi mababago ng kahit na anong presidente for every aspect of national development, from infrastructure, social services, to everything. Yep. So now they invited every single department of government and in collaboration with the private sector to come up with this plan na once na mapasa to into law, kahit na sinong presidente will not be able to change it. I think that is going to be the way to be able to push for national development beyond any president. Kasi yun yung wala natin di ba?
Yeah.
Sabi nga nila, ang specific na sinabi ng committee is, ito nga problema, after every president, the next one will say, ayoko yung plano niya dahil kalaban ko siya, palitan natin. And then scrap the plans altogether. That's why walang continuity. Dahil lang galit ka lang sa predecessor, you're gonna change the plans. So now they're gonna scrap that by implementing this. So, I'm very excited about that. Not a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah. But thank you for raising it. And I'll tell you this. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic on this. Totoo yan na marami tayong problema sa continuity because it's personality-based politics, different administration. Every president wants to be better than the previous president. Iba-badmouth nila. Look at the son of Aquino in 2015. Look at all the sonas of Digong, so on and so forth. Having said that, bro, actually the good news is we have examples of good continuity. For all the criticism I make of economics in the Philippines, we got some basic things correct. For instance, yung tinatawag na macroprudential economics. Ibig sabihin, siguraduhin mo, hindi ka mag-uutang na parang walang bukas, katulad ng ginawa ni Marcos dictatorship. Siguraduhin mo, yung inflation mo within the range, 2 to 5%, ganun. If you look at the Philippines in the past 3 administration, in fact 4 from late Arroyo to Pinoy and Digong and Marcos, consistent. In fact, yung NEDA secretary ngayon ay NEDA secretary din ni Pinoy. In fact, si Sonny Dominguez na finance secretary ni Digong, towards the end sabi niya, nagpapasalamat kami kay Aquino and Arroyo administration for laying down the foundation. If you look at the Philippines, our inflation rate is not the most ideal by our standard, but it's among the lowest in the global south. Look at Argentina, look at Turkey, even look at some of our neighbors. We have very stable interest rates. We have very stable inflation rates. So that created some predictability in our system na wala in many other developing countries ng ka-level natin.
Okay.
So we have good examples. Another good example, the underground metro na ginagawa ng Japan. It was negotiated by Pinoy. In 2015, I remember Shinzo Abe, the late Japanese, was here. We signed the MOU. Under Digong, nagka-groundbreaking, I think around 2019. And now, we can realistically look at the possibility na before the end of this decade, a few stations will open, potentially also here. In fact, the reason why na-delay yan is because nagkaroon ng yung away ng Makati and Taguig.
Yeah.
Yung right, yun ang naging issue. Kasi syempre, ito yung business district. Kung hindi mag-agree yan, the whole plan doesn't make sense. But I think even that inayos. So, once that comes on board, and believe me, that's one of the most exciting things I'm looking forward, a Japanese-made, modern, mas modern pa sa Tokyo, in Manila, underground subway. Can you imagine all the vloggers going? It's gonna be cool. I'm so excited because even yung, di ba, yung machines and all are all Japanese.
Yeah.
State of the art, brother. It's gonna be state of the art. Again, BGC shows us you can have world-class stuff in Manila. That's continuity, brother. From Pinoy, negotiated, MOA, to Duterte, groundbreaking literally, and then under Marcos, ay inaayos yung right of way issue. I can give you another example, not as successful but good enough. Kahapon lang andito si Elvish Colby, siya yung head ng policy ng Pentagon. He's like the brains behind Trump's foreign policy. He called the Philippines a model ally. Not because tayo may pinakamalakas na sandatan lakas.
Okay.
Not because we're the biggest ally. But because tayong pinaka nag-effort in the past 10 years to build our basic capabilities. Kung nakita mo yung Philippine Coast Guard in 2010-11, halos wala tayong barko. In fact, yung dahilan na nangyari yung Scarborough Shoal is because wala tayong pangpadala ng Coast Guard vessel. So nagpadala tayo ng warship. Next thing you know, ginamit ng China as an excuse to send more warships and then you had a siege. Now, the Philippine Coast Guard is arguably one of the best in the entire Indo-Pacific region. Ako, sumakay ako in a couple of them. They're state-of-art, French-made,
Really?
Japanese-made, big, beautiful. I mean, like in a very Trump, big, beautiful one. And now, the US is gonna send 4 cutters of their own Coast Guard to team up with us to guard yung ating karagatan. Malas lang tayo, ang lakas ng China, ang laki ng China. But if China were not as big, we would be actually one of the Davids in the region. Why did that happen? In 2011, Aquino passed revised AFP Modernization Act. Basically, tinuloy niya yung may AFP Modernization na Ramos. Guess what? Even under Digong, na super pro-China and Duwag and all, na-continue yung iba. Thanks to Secretary Lorenzana and other good people inside the... So now, for the first time, meron na tayong Air Force na kahit papano supersonic. May delays in terms of getting more advanced fighter jets, but we're still in that serious conversation. Philippines, meron na tayong mga barkong bago. I was at BRP Rizal 2 years ago.
Right.
Sa state-of-the-art, Hyundai, Korean-made. We have modern warships for the first time. You don't want to believe me. Watch the interview I had with my Singaporean friends, Colin Ko, Dr. Ko, from NTU University, Nanyang Technology. He said, one of my favorite lectures is when I talk about the Philippine military. Pictures from 2011, 2012, yung tayong pinakakawawa sa mga international exercises. Yung barko natin, 1960s.
Oh, God.
And then 2020, makita mo, modern na yung Philippine barko. At sabay-sabay na nagpapatrol with Australia, with US and Canada. I'm not telling you we are now a superpower. I'm not telling you we are a first world country. Hindi. But what I'm telling you is that we went from 0 to 5 out of 10. If we keep on doing these things, yung mind na yan, in others, we will be 7 and 8. And believe me, a 7 and 8 out of 10 Philippines in the next 10 to 15 years is a beautiful Philippines. It has metro, it has better, we are building new airports. One of the airports is being jointly built by the Germans who built the Munich airport and Koreans again.
Where?
I think that's the If
The
not,
one
the
in-
Bulacan one is the Sangli one. I think the one in...
Saan?
Dalawa yun eh.
Bulacan.
There's one Bulacan, there's also one I think in Sangli
Saan
area.
yung Sangli?
Laguna, papunta sa Laguna.
so one in the south.
There are two.
Oh,
Plus
wow.
Clark will be expanded. So there's, again, don't believe me, I read for Nikkei Asia, which is like the top business in Asia. They had an article that in 2035, the best airports in the world, the newest, shiniest ones, will be in Vietnam, Philippines, and likely in Thailand.
Wow. Oh my God, if that's true, then I'm excited.
And of course, I mean, this Nikkei Asia, hindi naman sila maghaka-haka lang. It's because they're looking at all these plans. Hindi kasi alam ng tao yan because these are long gestation policies. It takes 10, 15 years to build them. And of course, siguraduhin nila earthquake-prone, maayos, they're Japanese-made, German...
Earthquake-proof, you mean?
Proof, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, because earthquake-prone tayo, they have to make it, sorry, yeah. Flood-proof, diba?
Right.
And Germans are involved, Dutch are involved, the Koreans are involved. So these are all state-of-the-art technology. They're expensive, matagal nilang gawin, there are lots of delays, maraming they check. Kasi pag China yan, mabilis yan, but we don't know eh. Hit or miss yan. So, all I'm asking is have a little bit patience, look at the glass 1/3 full, if not half full, and believe me, we are slowly moving in the right direction. Kaya nga, please lang, let's not elect another bad president in 2028. Let's be between mediocre and good. Kahit yun na, kahit,
Grabe, ano? Ang baba na ng standard.
No, you know why?
Mediocre and good na lang tayo.
you know why, bro? Even when we had mediocre presidents, because the Filipino people are so hardworking, because our private sector is so dynamic,
Yes.
in spite of the government, we can move out. The only problem is when you have a president na hinahatak pababa yung
Yung
bansa.
private sector.
Just don't be an obstacle.
Yeah, don't
Just
be-
do a minimum lang. Yun lang hinihingi ko. Pwede na tayo eh. Kasi ang galing ng mga tao natin, private
Yeah.
sector natin. Now, do you see where I'm coming from? Bakit itong Heydarian naggugulo, nag-aaway, nag-iingay? This is the worldview I'm coming from, bro.
You know, it's so nice to hear that you're so much more hopeful than I thought. I'd assume you'd be very cynical. Kaya maganda nga narinig ko din to kasi totoo lang ako naman, iniisip ko that, I don't know, what, do you think 10, 20 years? Do you think 20 years we're gonna see a difference?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years.
2035, the airport will be nice. We'll have an underground metro.
Regardless of who wins.
That's a very hard question. That's a very
Kasi
hard
ang takot
question.
ko lang if you have a president that has no clue in terms of administration, basic administration, that's a big problem. But, may caveat. Napansin ko din na sometimes, kung palpak talaga yung head, everyone underneath tends to
Step up.
step up because they have to compensate because walang choice. You see this in every company. If the CEO is so bad, everyone under starts to step up, talagang rise up to the occasion to catch all the falling pieces that the company eventually actually just functions anyway. So that could also happen. But having said that, the problem is who are the people you hire? Kasi nakita nga natin, unfortunately, with some of our elected leaders, the way they hire is not based on
Yeah.
competence. It's based on loyalty.
Campaign. Sino tumulong ng campaign? Sino
Diba?
nag-fund ng
Yeah,
campaign?
walang competence whatsoever. That's where the problem lies. Pero if you hire competent people, or if you inspire competent people to join the government, then may chance. I have to say, as much as I didn't vote for BBM, people think I'm defending the BBM now kasi natutuwa ko sa mga ginagawa niya. For example,
Yeah.
he will hire a
100%.
Lenny supporter.
You
As
feel
part of
that
his-
natin
yun.
yan. Harvard graduate. I mean, smart people.
He
Come
will
on.
hire a
Yeah.
smart person. And even if alam niya na he didn't vote for him, be part of my government. Be part of the solution. I like that.
Yep.
He's actually turning out to be a better president than I expected. I know some people are gonna hate me for saying that, pero he is turning out better than what I thought he would be.
As someone close to him told me, he grew into his job. Aminado naman na may mga palpak and all, pero he's growing into his job. Ako, I'm Ilocano. I'm very proud Ilocano. And I'm very proud anti-Marcos Ilocano, I could say, from childhood pa lang. Kaya marami sa aking mga kamag-anak ay galit sa akin throughout the years. But I'll tell you, one thing I appreciate with these guys is they never took that against me. You can literally sit down with one of the Marcos and say, pare, kurakot yung lolo niyo ganun. Hindi sila pikon. I say, okay, we can talk about the data. Sure, he failed here and there. Okay, now what can we do to put this country together? Or
Right.
who is our main threat? China?
Right.
So they have that kind of, I would say, realpolitik maturity
Yeah.
that you need for state building. It's not ideal and normative.
Right.
But going back to your question, let's talk about this. Kasi I with Ronald also I discussed this. With others, I'll discuss this more. Ako kasi I'm very glad because how BBM turned out, I predicted that more or less. If you look at my articles in June on foreign policy, sabi ko he'll be more like his dad than Tatay Digong. That's exactly how it turned out. I said you will get a much more mediocre but safe and reformist Marcos. Most likely, that turned out. Because sabi ko, mukhang hindi itong cartel niya with Sara is not sustainable. And once they break out, wala siyang choice. He has to rely on reformists on US and all. Kasi yaya rin siya kabila.
Yeah.
So out of no choice. So now I'm thinking, ano yung scenarios if... Okay, to answer you, if Lenny, Bam, Kiko are president, I'll 100% assure you 2035 Philippines is a beautiful Philippines. I mean, 100% I can assure
Yeah.
you. Even 2030
Yep.
Philippines is gonna be beautiful Philippines. Which really leaves you with the fear of someone like Sara Duterte as the next president. And dito, bro, I'm still thinking about it. Again, you can have three scenarios. And tell me what you think about it. I'll just lay it out. One scenario, which is the cautiously optimistic scenario, is that the thing with Sara is, wala yung hugot ng tatay niya, wala yung framework ng tatay niya, all that Cold War, anti-US, all that hugot, all that DOM thing, whatever. Patayin lahat, ganun. Drug war, ganun. So, she'll be basically more, I don't know, like a Duterte light.
Okay.
Parang, yan, bastos pa rin, kung anong sasabihin, sablay pa rin.
Pero,
But less vivacious. And because wala siyang malakas na staff,
Yup.
her team is her bench is very
Yes.
thin. Parang BBM, she'll be forced to eventually work with others who are willing to work with her. And I won't be surprised, at some point, many will come and say, wala, we have to save the country para sa bayan. So something like what happened with BBM, that's a very optimistic scenario, which I'll give it a 30% chance. The other scenario is that she's insecure, she doesn't have the right team, but eventually, she'll basically have to cut a deal with big oligarchs, with big dynasties and all. So have what you can call consociational leadership. There'll be a lot of corruption. There'll be drug war killings here and there. There'll be a lot of flirting with China. But it's not the total disaster people are fearing, right? So yung mga projects na yan, mukhang tutuloy yan. But there'll be more China projects. There'll be a lot of on the sides, may mga yumayaman dyan. So it will be an uglier version of what we have now, but not as ugly as Duterte's time. Then there's a third version, which is the apocalypto,
Okay. Oh my God.
which is not impossible. And this is the Ronald Llamas version of things. For Ronald Llamas, precisely because she doesn't have a team, i-outsource niya yan sa China. The
Oh my
Chinese
God,
operatives will
Lord.
basically run the country. Yep. Basically yun.
Oh my God, and literally abuse, extract, and exploit the entire country for their benefit and create the systems para sila na basically parang proxy na lang tayo ng China.
Pero protektado sila ng China.
Oo.
Intelligence, everything.
Oh my God.
Basically push out US.
That is scary.
That's a, I will give that 50% chance at least, bro. It's a scary scenario.
Wow.
What, I mean, ikaw, like, for mo, just put aside partisan issue and all. Like, realistically, with what Sara is, what she has and doesn't have, let's say she doesn't get convicted, she runs and wins, and I suspect it's going to be an ugly elections. Roll the dice. What do you think is going to happen under Sara?
Well, I think I think she's going to try to prove the critics wrong.
Ah, interesting.
I think she will try.
She will try at least.
At least,
First 100 days.
at least so on the
Optics.
surface, yeah,
Optics.
optics. Pero sa ilalim, susubukan pa rin niyang, kasi may ugali si Sara that remember, all her life, she grew up as a princess.
Yeah.
Since the day she was born, lahat takot sa tatay niya. So nobody would dare go against her even when she was a child. Pero yun, para sa akin, I really hope people don't make that mistake. Kasi sayang yung progress. But you're right na kahit naman, sinong manalo for president, progress will happen. Now that's the scary part. What's your take on that and how people will perceive that?
Think of change like an ocean, di ba?
Oh.
Meron yung surface ng ocean. May wind, may rain, may tornado, whatever. Yeah? Nakikita mo yun kung may tide.
Yeah, yun yung nakikita natin.
Oo. Those things can change a lot depending on who's the administration and all. And then like there's a deep ocean movements, tectonic movements.
Okay.
Na halos wala siyang pake sinong president sa taas. But there's a mid-range level also na may kinalaman din sa climatic conditions. And so there'll be projects na will move forward, tectonic, regardless who's the president. Feeling ko matatapos yan. So if you only focus on them, you'll say, wala akong pake kung sino yung Filipino president. These things will happen regardless. So I think yung airport projects, yung
Matutuloy,
matutuloy. I mean, natuloy rin under Digong, di ba? Even some of the military modernization, I think it
Okay.
will go on. And baka Sara will give it as a concession. Oh, okay, let's not say Sara. Whoever is, let's imagine the worst possible president, right?
Okay. The worst possible
But
president.
feeling ko, the problem will be somewhere here whereby if we have a very controversial, polarizing president, next thing you know, my coup rumors. Next thing you know, my people power. Next thing you know, nagpanic yan, nag-respond. So you create a very dangerous polarizing dynamic.
Okay.
And eventually, that will have an effect on mid-ocean movements na may implications rin for climate and all
Right.
that. So this is my worry. There'll be things that will move well. And I've seen a lot of technocrats who do that kung kahit sino man president, gagalaw yan. So if you only focus on the tectonic movements, halos wala ka ng pake sa politics. But ako kasi for me, for the Philippines as a whole to move forward, dapat yung middle and below are good enough. So a good president, magkakaroon ng konting ingay, but things will move forward here. These two And for me, that will even out the country and put the Philippines in a good place. The thing kasi with Sara is that baka sa sobrang gulo at the surface level, eventually it goes down, right? So even if hindi maapektuhan yung completely tectonic levels, so much is bad at this level pa lang. Imagine like ocean toxicity, right? Imagine, like, ang dami maisip, di ba? So matsunami ka pa rin, di ba? So yun yung worry ko, bro. But again, not because I don't want to be partisan about this. I'm just saying there's that risk.
Yes.
It's not an assurance. Kaya sabi ko, I'm willing to bet that there's a possible scenario whereby the worst possible president comes in 2028, but because of all the other things we're doing right for our country, it will still be good enough. But it will not meet that full potential that the country could have in 2035.
So, in other words, what you're saying is, at the worst president, it'll still run.
It will run.
But if you have a good president or a great president, it will literally take off like a rocket. Yun, ano?
Most likely, yeah, of course, the thing with development and all is ang daming mga factors. So it's hard to predict exactly what will happen. But it's almost certain kung matino yung next president natin, right? Ma-accelerate all the positive things are happening. Imagine what's happening with Vico times 10, times 100. Imagine what's happening with every good mayor times 100. Imagine the good tendencies of BBM. Or even some of the good things Digong was doing, for instance. Tinatakot yung mga oligarchs. Huwag niyo masyado. I support that, honestly. Or even when Digong supported yung Bangsamoro referendum. Good yan, peace process. So a good president will amplify the good tendencies. So in 2035, if I were to write a novel, it will be very different from the novel I was thinking right now. Like a Simon in 2035 or 2034, di ba? It will be a much more hopeful country. Not perfect, still a developing country, hindi pa tayo first world. We won't be Norway or New Zealand, but we would be where Vietnam is nowadays. Exciting and vibrant, and a democratic version of Vietnam. More free. So even people like us, we can do what we're doing right now.
Alam mo, sana talaga makahabol tayo sa Vietnam. Naunahan pa tayo. Kasi nalampasan na tayo ng Vietnam
Yes.
That's the sad part But anyway, Richard, salamat sa usapan natin again today. And I'm sure the viewers enjoyed this. Pero alam mo ba, may comment sila. Dapat daw mag-Tagalog tayo mas madalas. Kasi normally, when we talk outside of the camera, we're actually speaking in English and that's our natural.
Nadadala tayo.
Pero dapat talaga mag-Tagalog daw tayo. Pero anyway, I'm always open. We're always open to the suggestions of the viewers. Sana panoorin naman yung susunod nating episode sa ibang coffee shop na naman.
Sana.
Pero dito sa Coffee Man Roasters, what did you think? Okay ba yung cappuccino mo?
Maybe it's not my cup of coffee.
Oh, really?
Yan nga siguro na-coffee ako masyado kanina. No? Baka it's just a cappuccino. I mean, no offense. But I love the place, the packaging and all. And mukhang ang sarap ng burger na...
The burger was good.
Inubos mo, bro. That was...
Yeah, that was good. I just wolfed it down. Pero yeah, well, you guys get to try the coffee and let me know what you guys think. But anyway,
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
Highly recommend this place nevertheless.
Ayan, sige.
Salamat.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next episode of... Wala pa kaming title if you guys could suggest the title
Giga
as well.
chat.
Okay, Giga Chat. Ako kasi coffee conversations. Pero sige. Right,
Konyo Talks.
Oh my God.
Kasi nga puro English
sulat
daw
yung
tayo.
titles kung gusto nyo.
O, kaya na lang mag-suggest. Alam mo, kaya na lang mag-suggest. Mag-experimental tayo ng ilang episode. Sana mapanoorin nyo. Sana masuportahan nyo. Tapos mag-suggest kayo ng mga best titles. Tapos pipili na lang kami
Ayan.
dyan.
And then, by the way, for the Flipside Network, mas darating na yung mga iba't ibang mga programa natin on top of this one. So watch out for that, guys, and make sure to subscribe to the Flipside Network. Okay? Ingat kayo lahat. Kristan,
Richard.
all right. We'll see you guys.